Part 13. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 121. I'm not sure. The bald man scratched his head, a little embarrassed. No living creatures were found on the mountain. I thought the beast ran away from this ancient city. As soon as he said that, the bald man seemed to realize that Lin Su was also a monster now, and a trace of apology flashed across his face. Sorry, Brother Lin, I didn't mean you. It doesn't matter, I never thought of myself as a monster, at most I'm just wearing a monster skin. Lin Su didn't care. He never really thought of himself as a monster, otherwise he wouldn't have tried every means to refine the transformation pill to transform into a human form. The strength of that thunderwing tiger is not high. It is impossible to resist the power of the formation on the hill. It should come from this ancient city. Lin Su stopped and thought, two possibilities. One is that there is another space in this ancient city, and the thunderwing tiger ran out of it. As for the second, Lin Su cast his eyes on the huge palace at the end of the stairs, and the bald man and Leng Lingyu also looked up with enlightenment. Perhaps, Xiao Linzi, your two possibilities are actually one. Leng Lingyu's beautiful face showed an inexplicable look. The answer may be in that palace. Then what are you waiting for? You will know after going in. Anyway, we have to go in eventually. The bald man looked fearless, and he was completely different from when he entered the ancient city 3 days ago. Lin Su couldn't help rolling his eyes. He really didn't know whether this guy was born optimistic or had a brain defect. But the bald man was right in one thing. They would enter the palace sooner or later. If there was a passage to leave this space, it was probably only in the palace. Climbing the stairs to the palace gate, Lin Su and the other two found that the palace gate was actually closed. Strange, if the thunderwing tiger slipped out of this palace, why is the gate closed? Is there another exit? The bald man tried to push the palace gate, but it didn't move at all. The palace gate was heavy. The bald man believed that if he couldn't push it, the thunderwing tiger would definitely not be able to push it either. This gate should not be opened by brute force. As Lin Su spoke, a silver light flashed in his eyes. He had activated the silver eyes to break illusions and scan the palace gate. As expected, under the silver eyes to break illusions, the secret of the palace gate was revealed. Lin Su had expected it right. This palace gate was not opened by brute force. At this moment, in Lin Su's eyes, a mysterious formation appeared on the gate. Lines containing energy formed this circular formation. There was a square gap in the center of the formation, which cut off the energy lines. Brother Tian, senior sister Leng, you step back, I will open this palace gate. Obviously, as long as the true energy is injected into the square gap in the center of the formation to connect the separated energy lines and penetrate the entire formation, the gate should be opened. However, it is unknown whether it is a fairyland or hell after the gate is opened. Open. Using the power of dragon essence to form an energy beam that shot into the square gap, Lin Su shouted softly, and pushed lightly with his right hand. The palace door made a roar and slowly opened inward. Swish. At the moment the palace door opened, a beam of light suddenly rushed out of the palace and shot towards Lin Su. Brother Lin, be careful. The bald man screamed, and Leng Lingyu's face changed suddenly. The speed of the beam was too fast. Before they could react, it had already arrived in front of Lin Su. Shifting. As soon as the bald man shouted, the beam of light had already passed through Lin Su's body, but the body that was passed through gradually disappeared. After image. The bald man and Leng Lingyu were stunned, and then turned their heads to look behind them. Wasn't it Lin Su who was standing 10 feet behind them? Brother Lin, you are okay, but you scared me. Little Lin, I knew you would be fine. Looking at the bald man and Leng Lingyu's heartfelt smiles, Lin Su felt a warm current in his heart, and at the same time he secretly called it luck. Fortunately, he had prepared before opening the palace gate and used shadow change to flash away in time, otherwise he would be hit by the beam. Who knows what problems would arise? Even if Lin Su had the immortal body of the immortal Lotus Heart Seal, he didn't dare to try it easily. His immortal body was still in the primary stage, and his recovery ability was limited. Who knows what kind of attack the beam was? What if the immortal body was ineffective? Looking at the beam that penetrated his afterimage and shot into the sky for a long time before gradually dissipating, feeling the terrifying energy contained in it, Lin Su couldn't help swallowing his saliva and releasing his consciousness to explore the palace. Although Lin Su's consciousness was suppressed and could only be released less than 3 feet, it was still possible to check whether it was safe behind the palace gate. Facing the palace gate is a jade screen with a staff on it. The previous attack should have been from this staff. It seems that Lin Su activated the staff when he opened the gate, so he was attacked by the beam. But it should be safe now. No problem, let's go in, be careful. Lin Su raised his hand and cast Earth Shield, Ice Armor and Vine Armor on himself. Although these defensive spells can't play a big role, it's better to have them than not. The bald man and Leng Lingyu also cast defensive spells, and the 3 of them carefully stepped into the palace gate. What a beautiful staff! As soon as she entered the palace, Leng Lingyu was attracted by the staff on the jade screen. The reason was that the staff was so beautiful. The whole staff was sky blue and translucent, covered with star-shaped patterns, and the head of the staff was a pair of wings carved from white jade. It's very beautiful and powerful. I was almost shot by it just now. Lin Su stopped Leng Lingyu, who was about to step forward. Is that beam emitted by the staff? Yes, so be careful. It's safer for me to take it? Leng Lingyu nodded. Lin Su's body skills were much stronger than hers, especially the ability of teleportation. If this staff released the same beam just now, only Lin Su could dodge it. Carefully walking to the jade screen, Lin Su reached out to the staff and gently held it in his hand. He felt as if he was holding soft and warm jade, and was not attacked by the beam again. Praying Star Staff. The moment he held the staff, a message came into Lin Su's mind from the staff. This is the clan guarding staff of the Star God clan. It can be regarded as a divine weapon, but it has been damaged. The remaining power is equivalent to that of a low-grade spiritual weapon. It can amplify the energy input into it within a breath tenfold to form an energy beam for attack. However, due to the damage, it can only be activated once every 10 days. In other words, Lin Su was attacked by his own tenfold power just now, and now the staff is in a dormant recovery state, and it will take 10 days to use it again. Of course, it does not mean that no matter how much energy is, it can be amplified tenfold. This praying star staff must have a limit to its capacity, but Lin Su's current power cannot measure the upper limit of this staff. I'll keep it for now. It may be useful someday. I'll decide who it belongs to after we leave the secret realm of gods and demons. After describing the properties of the praying star staff, Lin Su put it into the spiritual field space. Lin Su could see Leng Lingyu's love and desire for the praying star staff, but this staff was amplified according to the amount of input energy. Lin Su was the strongest among the 3. For the safety of the 3, this was the best choice. Leng Lingyu and the bald man also understood this, so they did not object. Let's go in quickly. Maybe there are other treasures. The bald man got such a powerful magic weapon just after entering the palace. His eyes were shining. He wanted to search the entire palace immediately and put a lot of treasures into his pocket. Calm down. There is a damaged artifact like the praying star staff in this palace. It is also the treasure palace of the Star God clan. It must be very complicated. We have to be careful. Don't get the treasure but get stuck here. After getting a treasure like the praying star staff, Lin Su was naturally very excited, but he knew that he had to be calmer at this time. This ancient city should belong to the Star God clan. Although we don't know what race the Star God clan is, those who can be associated with the word God and Devil are probably not simple. This palace is the treasure palace of the Star God clan. It is not simple to say that it is full of dangers. If they are not careful, they may all fall into it. Hee, that's what I said. There must be many dangers in this palace. The origin of the Thunderwing Tiger has not been figured out before. I won't mess around. The excitement on the bald man's face suddenly disappeared, and he was replaced with a serious expression in an instant. Brother Lin, you are the strongest and have the best eyesight. The one who leads the way is naturally Brother Lin. You are here. Sister Lingyu and I will cheer you up behind you. Lin Su. Although he had already experienced the shamelessness of the bald man, Lin Su couldn't help rolling his eyes. He took a deep breath to suppress the urge to beat the bald man. Lin Su held the Five Elements Spirit Sword and walked slowly to the back of the palace. After bypassing the jade screen, Lin Su and the other two came to a hall in the palace. It looked empty, with no one in sight. Only some huge columns supported the palace. The walls on all four sides were covered with portraits of various monsters. In front of the hall was a passage more than 10 feet wide, with no other exits. The owner of this palace is a gentleman. He made so many murals, even the stone pillars are engraved with patterns, but why are they all some strange monsters? Leng Lingyu looked at the murals on the stone pillars and walls, and murmured in a strange way. Murals. Monsters. Lin Su's heart suddenly moved, and a silver light flashed in his eyes. He opened Breaking Delusion silver eyes and looked at the walls and stone pillars, and his face suddenly changed. A good event that falls from the sky, a cool mobile phone is waiting for you. Follow the official account of Chi-Dion/Chinese website, add friends on WeChat at official account enter Dread, and participate now. Everyone has a prize. Follow the WeChat official account of Dread now. Chapter 1. Many thanks to the reader Xianxia for the reward. If you have monthly tickets, feel free to give them to me. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 122. Not good. The murals on the stone pillars and walls are not what they seem. They are simply monsters sealed by special methods. And under Lin Su's silver eyes that break illusions, these monsters sealed in the paintings began to show energy fluctuations. It looks like they will be unsealed soon. There is danger, hurry into the passage. Lin Su hugged Leng Lingyu's slender waist beside him, roared and rushed into the passage opposite the hall. HX.com. What danger? The bald man was full of doubts, but his pace was not slow. He followed Brother Lin and rushed to the passage. This is not a mural, it is a sealed monster. Now the seal is disappearing, and it will come out soon. As soon as Lin Su finished speaking, hundreds of demonic auras suddenly spread out. Any aura was above the initial stage of foundation building, and there were even two extremely powerful auras, which were definitely above the Jindan stage. Lin Su's cold sweat swish came down, and the bald man's face turned pale in an instant. He didn't ask any more questions and ran as fast as he could. A foundation building monster is not scary, but a group of foundation building monsters are scary, not to mention that there are two monsters above the Jindan stage among these foundation building monsters. Little Lin, let me down. Leng Lingyu's anxious voice with a hint of embarrassment sounded, and Lin Su realized that his big hand was still tightly holding Leng Lingyu's slender waist. The two bodies were almost pressed together without any gap. He was so scared that he quickly retracted his hand and smiled awkwardly. Well, I didn't mean it. Don't say so much, hurry up and find a way to escape. Leng Lingyu's neck was still a little red, and after giving Lin Su a white look, she flipped her palm and a formation suddenly appeared. Go. It happened in a flash. When the three rushed to the entrance of the passage, the monsters in the hall had all been unsealed and jumped out from the stone pillars and walls, rushing towards the three. Leng Lingyu shouted and threw the formation back. At the moment when the three rushed into the passage, a light red light curtain came out from the formation and sealed the entrance of the passage. Bang bang bang. Boom boom. Several monsters hit the light curtain hard and were blocked, making a loud crash, shaking the entire passage slightly. Oh my god, I was scared to death, I thought I was going to die. Lin Su and the other two stopped and looked back. Several monsters were attacking the light curtain fiercely, and a large number of monsters were blocked behind and roared angrily. The bald man couldn't help but wipe the cold sweat from his forehead. Fortunately, there were murals only in the hall, not in the passage, otherwise the three of them would not even have a chance to breathe. Of course, it was also thanks to the array plate thrown by Len Lingyu, otherwise those monsters would have rushed into the passage long ago. In such a small place, Lin Su and the other two did not have much room to dodge, and could only fight hard. With the strong physical strength of the monsters, the three of them could imagine what the consequences of fighting hard would be. This is a disposable array plate. It can't block for long. We have to leave quickly. Len Lingyu's words made Lin Su and the bald man, who had just breathed a sigh of relief, feel anxious again. Without saying a word, they turned around and ran into the passage. There was no danger in the passage. After half an incense stick of time, the three of them came to the end of the passage, but were blocked by a purple gold door. Roar! Ah! The roar of beasts came faintly from the back. It was obvious that the monsters did not give up because of the departure of Lin Su and the others. We have to open this door quickly, otherwise we will be blocked here. Len Lingyu's voice was very urgent. She knew very well how much defense the light curtain formed by her array disc had. If it was only the monsters in the foundation building stage, they could still hold on for a long time, but with the two monsters in the Jindan stage, Len Lingyu was unsure. Lin Su did not speak, and once again activated the silver eyes of delusion breaking, and a silver-white light groove appeared on the purple gold door in front of him. What does this mean? It doesn't look like an array. Trying to push the purple gold door, it didn't move at all. It was obvious that this door couldn't be pushed by brute force. At least Lin Su didn't have such brute force, even with the bald man and Len Lingyu's strength. Shua. Frowning and thinking for a while, Lin Su suddenly waved the 5 elements spirit sword in his hand, and a sword energy flew out and hit the purple gold door. Xiao Linzi, what are you doing? Len Lingyu and the others were shocked by Lin Su's sudden reaction, and quickly used their true energy to prepare to resist and dodge attacks at any time. However, the imagined attack did not appear, and Lin Su's excited voice sounded, "It is true. Quick, attack this door together. This door is made of energy. Our attack can consume the energy of the door. As long as the energy is consumed, the door will open." Before he finished speaking, Lin Su had already summoned the 5 elements spirit swords to form a small 5 elements sword formation and attack the purple gold gate. At the same time, he continuously released the 5 elements divine thunder in his hands to strike the purple gold gate. The speed of casting the spell formed 2 continuous lightning belts between the purple gold gate and his hands. The silvery white light channel above the purple gold door began to dim rapidly, but only Lin Su's destroying silver eyes could see it. The bald man and Len Lingyu could only feel a trace of energy being drawn by Lin Su from the purple gold color. It was punched out of the gate and dissipated in the air. Is this brother Lin's true strength? How terrifying! Seeing the 5-color lightning that almost formed a strip between Lin Su's hands and the purple gold door, the bald man's face was filled with shock. This was not some low-level instant spell. The terrifying energy contained in this lightning made the bald man himself. He thought that if he got hit a few times, he would definitely not be able to walk around in a hurry, but Lin Su could now emit more than 10 lightning beams in one breath. It was really abnormal. What's more, there is a small 5 elements sword formation on the side that is constantly bombarding the purple gold door. It is completely multitasking. What are you two doing in a daze? Hurry up and help fight. Lin Su, who was busy with his busy schedule, turned around and saw the bald man and Leng Lingyu looking at him blankly. He couldn't help but feel an unknown fire rushing to the top of his head, and roared angrily. When did this happen? The two of them are still in a daze. Are they really not planning to die? Huh? Yes, attack, attack. Awakened by Lin Su's angry shouting, the bald man and Leng Lingyu flashed a look of shame on their faces. They quickly took out their magic weapons and struck hard at the door. Although the attacks were not as fast and fierce as Lin Su's, they were still powerful. With the help of the two of them, the silver-white light trough above the purple-gold door indeed dimmed a lot faster. After half a stick of incense, the light trough above the purple-gold door has dimmed by 90%. Empty the last 10% of the energy to break open the door. Try harder and it will be broken soon. Just as Lin Su's voice of joy rang out, he heard a loud bang in the distant passage, and then the passage began to tremble. No, the formation barrier has been breached. Leng Lingyu's face turned pale, and the attacks in her hands were a little slower. Don't stop. Keep attacking. Lin Su shouted loudly, attacking even more rapidly, and the tremors in the passage became more and more violent. Without even thinking about it, he knew that there must be a large number of monsters swarming down the passage. Damn it! It won't be too late if this continues. At this moment, the 10% energy light tank looked like a natural chasm, separating Lin Su and the others in the passage. What they were about to face was a group of extremely vicious monsters that wanted to choose people and devour them. Perhaps they were called monsters. The beasts are no longer suitable. They have completely lost their intelligence and are out and out ferocious beasts. Roar. There is still the last trace of the silver-white energy light channel on the purple-gold door, but several monsters have appeared in the field of vision of Lin Su and the others. An ape-shaped monster roared towards Leng Lingyu. Pounced up. Small 5 elements sword formation, protect. A fierce look flashed in Lin Su's eyes. The small 5 elements sword formation that was furiously attacking the gate turned around and stood in front of Leng Lingyu. It swung out a sword curtain to block the ape-like monster's attack and bounced it back. Xiao Linzi. Looking at the figure blocking her, Leng Lingyu suddenly had a complicated look in her eyes. She bit her silver teeth and was about to rush forward, but was caught by Lin Su. Lingyu, what are you doing? I'll stop them and buy you time. Leng Lingyu was about to rush forward with a stubborn expression, and Lin Su couldn't help but get angry. Block. You can't block it? Lin Su, don't need a woman to block the knife for me. Go back and attack the door, leave it to me. As he spoke, he involuntarily threw Leng Lingyu behind him. At the same time, he increased the flow of dragon essence to the small 5 elements sword array, smashing back the monsters that flew up one by one, and all the overwhelming magic attacks were blocked. Xiao Linzi. Leng Lingyu turned over in the air and stabilized her figure. She looked at Lin Su without any trace of resentment in her eyes. She shook her lips, turned around and blasted furiously towards the purple-gold door. A cold voice shouted at Lin Su. There was a ringing in the ears. Xiao Linzi, you are mine from today on. You can't die, otherwise I will never be done with you, sister. Lin Su, who was activating the small 5 elements sword formation to block the attack, trembled when he heard this and was almost hit by a claw wind. He hurriedly stabilized his position and took the time to look back at Leng Lingyu, only to see that he was wielding a pink short sword. He banged hard on the purple-gold door, and couldn't help but reveal a wry smile on his face. This ant is really as tough as ever in her words. Is she now hers? He shook his head to get these distracting thoughts out of his mind. The most important thing now is to block the attacks of these monsters and buy time for the bald man and Leng Lingyu to break through the purple-gold door. Otherwise, their lives will not be saved. What else is in vain? Boom! With a loud bang, the silver-white light channel of the purple-gold door was finally emptied and burst open. "The door is open, hurry up. I'll be there soon." As soon as Lin Su spoke, an irresistible powerful blow hit the small five elements sword formation, almost destroying the sword formation. Lin Su felt a tightness in his chest and almost vomited out a mouthful of blood. Demonic beast in the elixir formation stage. A great pie in the sky event, a cool mobile phone is waiting for you. Follow /Chinese website official account, add friends on WeChat, add official account, enter Dread, participate now, everyone will win a prize. Now follow Dread WeChat official account. Chapter 2 is here. Please support with rewards and monthly votes. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 123. Xianxia, let's go together. The figure of the Jindan stage monster appeared in front of them. The bald man and Len Lingyu were pale. Even if the Jindan stage monster had lost its mind, it was definitely not something Lin Su could resist. Len Lingyu shouted and flashed to Lin Su's side, manipulating the pink short knife to attack the monster group. Nonsense! Lin Su shouted and pulled Len Lingyu in front of him, his eyes wide open. "I told you to leave first, didn't you hear? Get lost." Len Lingyu looked at Lin Su's ferocious face in a daze. In his impression, this handsome young man has always looked kind. Although he completed the slaying of 10,000 people in the shortest time and became the 5th Shura of Yama Palace, that was when he was on a mission. He never showed such an expression to his friends. Somehow, Len Lingyu suddenly felt a warmth she had never felt before rising from the bottom of her heart. The ice in her heart cracked, and a smile appeared on her face. She suddenly stood on tiptoe and kissed Lin Su on the face. "Xianxia, remember that you are mine. You are not allowed to die without my permission." Lin Su only felt a warm touch and a faint sweet fragrance on his face. He was slightly stunned. Len Lingyu and the bald man had already rushed out of the passage through the broken door. Ah! Accompanied by a deafening roar, the Jindan stage monster attacked again. Lin Su only felt an irresistible force hitting the small five-element sword formation. The sword formation suddenly disintegrated, and the five-element spirit sword turned into 5 streams of light and drilled into his body. At the same time, his figure was suddenly submerged by the surging monsters, and when many monsters rushed to the door, they seemed to be blocked by an invisible force and could not get out of the passage at all. "Little Lin, no. Brother Lin." Len Lingyu and the bald man looked at Lin Su, who was submerged by the monsters, and screamed. "Don't scream so loudly, it makes me feel like something really happened." Lin Su's evil laugh suddenly sounded behind the two of them. Len Lingyu and the bald man looked back and saw that it was Lin Su standing behind them a few feet away. "Brother Lin, are you okay?" The bald man walked up to Lin Su with a face full of surprise and hugged him tightly. "Why, do you hope that I'm okay? How is that possible?" The bald man shook his head. "But I'm really curious about how you got out. We clearly saw that you were submerged by the monsters just now." Len Lingyu also walked to Lin Su's side, looking at Lin Su with a probing look in her beautiful eyes. "Have you forgotten that I am a monster?" Lin Su laughed slyly. "When those monsters attacked me, I used the teleportation to dodge, and at the same time, I changed back to my original form and mixed in with the monsters. Those guys who had lost their minds and acted on instinct naturally didn't find me, hee hee. So that's it?" The bald man suddenly realized. "Is that what you planned from the beginning?" Len Lingyu looked at Lin Su with her beautiful eyes, and there was an inexplicable brilliance in her eyes, which made Lin Su feel guilty for some reason. "Of course not, I just came up with a solution on a whim, and I didn't expect it to work." Looking at the slightly embarrassed Lin Su, Len Lingyu suddenly laughed. took 2 steps forward and gently hugged him, and whispered in his ear, Xianxia, remember, you are not allowed to take risks like today without my permission. If you die, I will accompany you. Feeling the delicate and graceful body of the beauty in his arms, Lin Su was a little confused. What is this, a confession? But he already has Zizuir in his heart, how can he accept someone else? While he was struggling, Lin Su's hands unconsciously wrapped around the beautiful woman's waist. The bald man Tian Yuan smiled obscenely at Lin Su, turned his head and pretended not to see anything, but secretly sent a message to Lin Su, Brother Lin, you are really amazing. You can even take down this little girl. Come on, take her in and train her well, you will definitely have endless luck. Lin Su. Staring at the bald man speechlessly, Lin Su looked at Leng Lingyu with a smile on his face in his arms, but he didn't have the slightest thought of pushing him away. Do I really have feelings for her? It is undeniable that Leng Lingyu is indeed a great beauty picked out of 100, and her unique temperament is not inferior to Zizuir at all. In addition, they have been together day and night through life and death, and Leng Lingyu took the initiative. Lin Su is a normal man. It would be a lie to say that he has no thoughts. Okay, let's get out of here. Blowing softly in Lin Su's ear, feeling Lin Su's slightly stiff body and gradually rapid breathing, Leng Lingyu showed a smug smile on her lips, gently let go of Lin Su, and lightly lifted her hair, as if nothing had happened just now. This goblin. Lin Su smiled bitterly in his heart. He really had no way to deal with Leng Lingyu. No wonder the bald man was like a mouse seeing a cat when he saw Leng Lingyu. I think there should be no danger here for the time being. Let's recover first. We have just consumed a lot of true energy. Lin Su looked at the passage. All the monsters had disappeared. I think they should have returned to the murals. The 3 of them basically didn't have any energy left in the battle just now, and they all lost a lot of their true energy. Especially Lin Su, who could resist the attack of more than a dozen monster beasts by himself. Although his dragon energy was strong, he couldn't withstand such an attack. Consumption, there is no telling what dangers will be encountered in the palace next, it is safer to recover well before moving forward. At that moment, the 3 of them sat on the floor, took out the elixir, and began to use their energy to restore the lost real energy. For the sake of safety, Lin Su also set up a simple defensive formation around them. After a stick of incense, Lin Su opened his eyes first, and a ray of light flashed in his eyes. The effectiveness of Xiantian dragon transformation technique was astonishing. Although he suffered the greatest loss, he was the first to recover. Glancing at the bald man and Leng Lingyu who were still recovering from their exercise skills, Lin Su smiled softly, stood up and walked out of the formation, taking stock of the surrounding environment. This place is very similar to the previous hall. There are also many huge stone pillars, but there are no murals with monsters sealed on the stone pillars and walls. Directly in front is a long staircase covered with bright stars, and there is a light door at the end of the stairs, and there is no other exit. That light door must be the portal leaving this space. Lin Su muttered, this Star God clan is too stingy. There is only one magic weapon in the entire temple. No wonder they were exterminated. This ancient city is the sacred city of the Star God clan, and the palace is the temple of the Star God clan. However, until now, Lin Su and the others have not encountered a single person from the Star God clan except for the monster beast sealed in the mural. Come to think of it, I'm afraid the clan has been exterminated long ago. Yeah, I'm so stingy. I was still thinking about finding a few more treasures here, but in the end I was so exhausted that I couldn't find even one hair. The dissatisfied voice of the bald man sounded behind him. Lin Su looked back and saw that the 2 of them had also recovered their luck. It's good to be able to save your life. Let's go, let's leave this palace first. The 3 of them walked along the stairs towards the light gate. They encountered no danger along the way, and they arrived in front of the light gate not long after. "Hey, what is this?" The bald man suddenly saw a lavender bead the size of a dragon's eye on the palm of a humanoid statue next to the light door. His eyes lit up and he walked over and grabbed the bead. "Careful!" Just when the bald man's fingers touched the lavender bead, a scarlet light suddenly flashed in the eyes of the originally motionless statue, and the stone sword held in his right hand quickly slashed towards the bald man's neck. The bald man was horrified. He raised the spikes in his hand to block the stone sword, but heard an explosion. Although the bald man successfully blocked the stone sword, he was hit and flew away. "It's so powerful. What kind of monster is this?" After flipping over twice in the air and landing, the bald man shook his right hand, which was a little sore from the shock, with a look of shock on his face. "Despicable intruders who dare to covet God's treasures, die." A cold, hollow voice came from the mouth of the stone statue, and the stone statue rushed in front of the bald man at an extremely fast speed. The stone sword in his hand slashed towards the bald man again with great speed and skill. The flexibility is simply staggering. The stone statue's attack seemed simple, but it blocked all the bald man's dodge routes. The bald man did not have Lin Su's transformation to dodge and dodge, so he could only raise the spikes on his hands to block. Boom! Unsurprisingly, the bald man was blown away again, and his face turned pale after landing. Obviously, the force of the stone statue's bombardment was not so easy to withstand. This seems a bit like the long-lost puppetry technique. There was no trace of life fluctuations on the stone statue, but when it attacked, there was a strange energy emanating from its body. Lin Su frowned and thought about it, and suddenly remembered that he saw it when he was cultivating the Immortal World Sword God section. There are records about puppetry in ancient scrolls. There once appeared in the world of cultivating immortals a special sect of cultivating immortals. The people in this sect were not very powerful in combat, but they could make various powerful puppets to fight on their behalf. This was the puppet technique. This sect once flourished for a while in the history of the world of immortality. Later, it fell apart due to the invasion of the demon sect, and most of the puppetry skills were lost. The remaining small part was obtained by the founder of the Qingji sect, and based on this, the sect was founded. With the help of mechanism techniques, Thousand Machine sect was established. Puppetry? What is puppetry? Puppetry has only appeared in the world of immortality. No one in the Sea of Stars has ever seen it or even heard of it. It is normal for Leng Lingyu not to know about it. I've only seen puppets made of special materials that can fight. I've only seen them in ancient books. I didn't expect to see them here. Looking at the bald man who was trapped by the puppet stone statue, Lin Su was a little surprised. Why does the stone statue keep staring at Brother Tian to attack, but turns a blind eye to us? Is it because of that bead? Cool mobile phones are waiting for you. Follow the official account on the Chinese website, add friends on WeChat, add official account, enter Dread, and participate now. Everyone will win a prize. Follow the Dread WeChat official account now. Chapter 1 is here. Please support by subscribing, tipping, and monthly tickets. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 124. Beads. Brother Su, are you talking about the lavender bead that Tianyuan got? Brother Su? Lin Su's whole body was filled with excitement. He was promoted from Xiao Linzi to Changsu brother so quickly? However, why do I feel secretly happy? Senior Sister Leng, You still call me Senior Sister Leng? What should it be called? Call me Yuer. Yuer. Well, that's right. The two stood aside chatting, while the bald man was constantly being knocked away by the stone puppets, completely at a disadvantage. Diamond suit. Can you two start flirting again later? If you don't help me, I'm going to be chopped to death by this weird rock. The bald man screamed angrily. He didn't know what kind of stone this stone puppet was made of. The bald man's spikes would leave a white mark at most when he stabbed them. The power was ridiculously strong. If the bald man hadn't used skills to remove them every time, if most of the impact force was removed, he would have fallen down long ago. Even so, the remaining power still caused the bald man's blood to surge and his chest to feel extremely tight. Brother Tian, you should be hunted for taking that bead. Throw the bead over. The bald man's words made Lin Su blush, and he coughed quickly and said. Without saying a word, the bald man threw the lavender beads towards Lin Su. Despicable intruders who dare to covet God's treasures, die. Another cold, hollow voice came from the stone statue's mouth. The stone statue puppet turned its head, the scarlet light in its eyes stared at Lin Su, and rushed over with a swish. Let me try to see the strength of this stone puppet. With a trace of fanaticism flashing across his face, Lin Su held the five elements spiritual sword and rushed towards the stone puppet without hesitation. He used the power of Dragon Yuan to slash at the stone sword that the stone puppet was swinging towards. When there was a sound of gold and iron clashing, and Lin Su's figure flipped in the air and landed on the ground. However, the stone puppet did not fare well, and he stumbled back several steps before he stabilized his figure. This puppet is so powerful. Shaking his aching right hand, Lin Su rushed forward again, but this time he did not fight with the stone puppet, but used Union Step to slash around the stone puppet. The stone sword of the stone puppet continued. Lin Su couldn't even touch the corners of his clothes. It's so shocking. I was forced to retreat by this ghost stone statue. How come it's so easy in Brother Lin's hands? Hey! The bald man watching the battle looked depressed as Lin Su surrounded the stone puppet and couldn't help but mutter. Brother Su has the upper hand, but the defense of this stone puppet is too strong. It can't break through its defense at all. If we continue to fight, Brother Su will suffer a loss. Len Lingyu shook her head. Don't look at Lin Su, who is now attacking and slashing around the stone puppet. The stone puppet can't attack Lin Su at all, but Lin Su can't break through the defense of the stone puppet. When the true energy is exhausted, then but he will be at a disadvantage. What should we do? Let's go up together to help. The bald man was a little dumbfounded. He smiled bitterly as soon as he said the words. Even Lin Su couldn't break through the stone puppet's defense. He and Len Lingyu were definitely helpless. Even if they went to help, what's the use? Maybe it will help more and more. Wait and see, Brother Su should have something to do. Lin Su could naturally think of what Len Lingyu could think of, but seeing that there was no panic on his face, Len Lingyu felt that Lin Su should have something to rely on. Sure enough, not long after Len Lingyu's words fell, Lin Su suddenly swayed and left an afterimage that appeared a few feet away. He shot a spell into the lavender beads and shouted softly, "Stop it!" The movement of the stone puppet suddenly stopped, and then turned into a stream of light and shot into the lavender beads. What's going on? The bald man was stunned. Why was this stone puppet suddenly taken into the lavender beads by Lin Su? This bead is called the puppet bead. It is a magic weapon used to store the stone puppet. I just used my true energy to refine it, so I put it away. Lin Su looked like it was natural. In fact, he had already guessed that the lavender beads were puppet beads. The attack just now was to test the strength of the stone puppet and to buy time for himself to refine the puppet beads. Brother Lin, if you have refined these puppet beads, doesn't that mean that this stone puppet will listen to you from now on? If nothing else, it should be like this. Lin Su's words made the bald man beat his legs and chest for a while. He discovered this puppet bead first. Why didn't he think of checking it first? What's the point of fighting with a stone statue puppet? It's fine now, such a powerful puppet it became Lin Su's. Regarding the bald man's regret and self-pity, Lin Su could only look at him sympathetically. It was true that the bald man discovered the puppet bead first, but he did not subdue it. Since it fell into his own hands, there was nothing he could do about it. Might spit it out again. Lin Su knew very well that the strength of the stone puppet was far beyond what he had just shown. I don't know what kind of material this stone puppet is made of. It has extremely strong defense. Lin Su's 5 elements spirit sword is already at the pinnacle level of top grade treasures. It still can't cause the slightest damage to it. I'm afraid only a magic weapon at the level of a spiritual weapon can shake it. Is it defensive? Moreover, the puppets are driven by energy. This stone puppet has been stored here for who knows how many thousands of years. The energy in the body has been almost exhausted, so it can only make regular slashes and cannot use spells. In addition, he fought only by instinct, so he was suppressed by Lin Su. As long as the energy of the stone puppet can be fully replenished, the strength it can exert will definitely not be inferior to that of masters in the pill formation stage. After refining the puppet beads, Lin Su had some understanding of the stone puppet. This stone puppet has an ability called Petrified Ray, which consumes 20% of the energy value each time it is activated. The method of replenishing energy stones is very simple, just throw the divine crystal into the mouth of the stone puppet. Of course, Lin Su doesn't have any divine crystal, but as long as it contains energy, spiritual stones should be fine. A spell was shot into the puppet bead, and a stream of light shot out from it, showing the figure of the stone puppet. However, this time, although the stone puppet's eyes were still shining with red light, it did not attack Lin Su and the others. After launching the attack, he bowed slightly to Lin Su and said somewhat mechanically, "Dear Master, what are your orders?" "Eat these to replenish energy." Lin Su waved his hand, and a pile of mid-grade spiritual stones appeared in front of the stone puppet. "Yes, Master." The stone puppet opened its mouth and sucked in, and a suction force sucked all the medium-grade spiritual stones on the ground into his mouth. Suddenly, the puppet beads showed that the energy value of the stone puppet had been replenished by 20%, and the current energy value was 30%. No, so many spirit stones have only replenished 20% of the energy, which is only enough to fire the petrification ray once. Lin Su's face suddenly turned as bitter as a bitter gourd. He had just taken out 20,000 pieces of mid-grade spiritual stones, but he only replenished 20% of the energy value of the stone puppet. So if he wanted to replenish it, wouldn't he still have to do it? Need 70,000 mid-grade spiritual stones. This is simply burning spiritual stones. Lin Su couldn't help but smile bitterly. It seems that since he got the spirit field space, he has been worrying about the spirit stones. Spirit stones are needed to promote and ripen the spiritual grass, to supplement the missing jade slips of martial arts, and to collect materials for alchemy and weapon refining. Now I thought that he got a powerful magic weapon, but he didn't expect that it would consume a lot of spiritual stones. Even if he earned spiritual stones very quickly, he couldn't stop such consumption, right? With a grimace, he took out 70,000 medium-grade spiritual stones again and asked the stone puppet to swallow it. A circle of white light lit up all over the stone puppet's body, indicating that its energy value had reached full value. Originally, he wanted to test the stone puppet's petrification ray ability, but when he thought that every time he fired the petrification ray, it would consume 2 layers of energy, which was a full 20,000 mid-grade spiritual stones. Lin Su felt like his mouth was filled with tears. It was so painful that I had to give up the idea. I hope this stone puppet won't disappoint me. After activating the puppet bead to put away the stone puppet, Lin Su and the bald man sat down cross-legged to recover their lost true energy. After a while, Lin Su and the bald man opened their eyes almost at the same time. There was a trace of uncontrollable joy in the bald man's eyes. Before Lin Su and Len Lingyu asked, he laughed and said it himself. In fact, it is very simple to say that the bald man has reached the limit of breakthrough, or there is an opportunity for breakthrough. Although we are all Dzogchen monks in the late stage of foundation building, some people can form elixirs easily, while others cannot break through in their entire lives. Even with the help of dust-falling elixirs, It only reduces the bottleneck of breakthrough, but cannot completely eliminate the bottleneck. Eliminate. Whether it is a monk or a monster, condensing the Dao foundation and forming a golden elixir is a leap in the level of life. It is not an exaggeration to call the elixir formation stage the body of a semi-immortal. When the condensed golden elixir enters the elixir forming stage, the bridge between heaven and earth in the body will be opened, the yin and yang qi will circulate to each other, and the soul will condense into the primordial spirit. As long as the primordial spirit is immortal, it can be reborn. Moreover, after entering the Dan formation stage, lifespan will be greatly increased, from 300 years lifespan in the later stage of foundation establishment to 1000 years lifespan. After 1000 years of life, mortals now look like immortals. Not only that, the true energy in the body will be condensed into a semi-solid form, and the power will be increased by more than 10 times. You can fly freely between heaven and earth without using a sword. And the speed is even more incomparable than during the foundation building period. The bald man had already reached the stage of great perfection in the later stage of foundation building. All he needed was a chance to break through. The successive battles since entering the secret realm of gods and demons finally allowed him to find this opportunity. As long as he had the help of Chen Falling Pill, he could quietly retreat for 10 years. In the year, he can definitely successfully break through to the pill formation stage. Brother Lin, let's leave quickly. The bald man entered the mystical realm of gods and demons to find an opportunity to break through. Now that the opportunity has arrived, he naturally does not want to stay here any longer. If possible, he really hopes to find a transmission channel to leave the mystical realm of gods and demons and return to the temple of hell for retreat. Chapter 2 is here. I was delayed due to something today, so the update is a bit late, please forgive me. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 125. The Secret Realm of Gods and Demons, in the first floor of the Demon God Tower. The eldest daughter Yeping the only daughter of Yewuji, the owner of Spirit Beast Island, is currently in an unprecedented crisis. What do you want to do? I'm warning you, my father is the owner of Spirit Beast Island. If you dare to touch a hair on my head, my father will never spare you. Yeping screamed in a low voice with a fierce expression, but the panic in her eyes betrayed the fear in her heart at this time. Lying next to Yeping was a monk. He was a monk in the early stage of alchemy formation on Spirit Beast Island. However, he had become a cold corpse at this moment. A big hole was opened between his chest and abdomen. The gold in his Dantian was Dan has been brutally poached. Next to Yeping and the corpse, there were 4 monks from Xianxia Temple, 3 who were in the late stage of foundation establishment and 1 who was in the early stage of Dan formation. Among them, the monk in the early stage of Dan formation had a deep visible bone scar on his right shoulder. But the bleeding has stopped. Miss Yep, we have never thought of touching a hair on your head. What we want to touch is your whole body. He. One of the foundation building monks chuckled sinisterly and glanced at Yeping's towering breasts lustfully, wishing he could strip Yeping naked right now. Do you want to cause a war between Spirit Beast Island and Xianxia Temple? Yeping screamed, but it was obvious that the 4 monks from Xianxia Palace didn't care about her threat. War? No, there will be no war, because no one knows that you died in our hands, no one even knows that you entered this mysterious realm of gods and demons. Don't forget, you came in as Lu Huaying of the Xianxia Temple monk in the early stage of pill formation sneered, and Yeping's face suddenly turned pale. The other party was right. She had sneaked in disguised as senior sister Lu Huaying. The only person who knew her identity was the person she met after entering the secret realm of gods and demons. Senior brother Yesong arrived, but the latter had turned into a cold corpse lying in front of her, and the person who did it was the 4 monks of Xianxia Temple. Why? I have no grudge against you, why do you want to kill me? Why? Miss Yep, Don't you think you are a little too naive to ask this? The monks of Xianxia temple who were in the early stage of forming the core laughed ferociously. The relationship between immortal cultivators is that of the weak and the strong. What's more, we are still competing for opportunities in this secret realm of gods and demons. One less person means less competition, right? Of course, if you insist on a reason, it is that you are Yeping the most cherished daughter of Yewuji, the owner of Spirit Beast Island. If you die, it will definitely be a heavy blow to Yewuji. Such a blow, his state of mind will never reach the state of supreme perfection, and he will never have the opportunity to step into the realm of God transformation and compete with the Palace Master. Sooner or later, this sea of chaotic stars will become the sea of chaotic stars of our Xianxia Palace. At the early stage of pill formation, the monk stretched out his hand towards Yeping and a big hand of energy suddenly appeared and caught Yeping in his hand. Uncle Chengsu, wait a minute, let me enjoy it first and then kill her. It's exciting to think about the daughter of the owner of Spirit Beast Island, not to mention this girl is so pretty. The person who spoke was still the tall monk in the late stage of foundation establishment who had a lustful look on his face. Suri, put away all those disgusting thoughts in your mind. Don't forget where this place is. In the early stage of pill formation, monk Xianxia glared at the tall monk Su Li fiercely. After leaving the secret realm, you can have fun in whatever way you want, but not here. In order to avoid long nights and dreams, we must deal with this girl as soon as possible. Okay, Master Chengsu, I understand. The tall monk Su Li nodded regretfully, smacking his lips as he looked at Yeping's exquisite body. What a pity for such a little girl, it would be a waste of natural resources not to be able to enjoy it. Su Li's words were clearly heard by the 3 Xianxia temple monks beside him. The 3 of them frowned in disgust, but no one, including Su Chengsu, said anything. This Su Li's father, he is the master of Xianxia Pavilion, so it is better not to offend him unless necessary. A cold light flashed in Su Chengsu's eyes. He activated the true energy in his body and took hold of his right hand, intending to crush Yeping to death. However, he saw a 5-color stream of light flying towards her Dantian at an extremely fast speed. Without any time to think, Su Chengsu hurriedly removed his big energy hand, took out his flying sword and blocked it. When a sound of gold and iron clashed, and a strong force accompanied by a red-purple thunder light instantly spread throughout Su Chengsu's body, making his body suddenly numb. At the same time, the 5-color stream of light that attacked him was also blown away, and it turned out to be the lavender flying sword shining with 5 colors of light is Lin Su's 5 elements spirit sword. After catching the 5 elements spirit sword that was knocked away, Lin Su ducked in front of Yeping and caught his limp body. Is it you? Yeping looked at Lin Su's familiar smiling face, relaxed, cried wow, and buried her head in Lin Su's arms. This, I say Miss Ye, don't cry. Lin Su was stunned for a moment. Looking at Len Lingyu's frosty face as he walked over, he felt a headache. After leaving the Star God Clan Temple, Lin Su and the others were teleported to the Demon God Tower. Before they had time to observe the surrounding situation, they heard the sound of fighting coming from the front. After hearing the sound, they rushed over just in time to see Su Chengsu about to fight. Yeping killed her, and Lin Su almost subconsciously activated the 5 elements spirit sword to attack and rescued Yeping. Who would have known that this girl would hug him tightly and cry? Is this still the proud young lady of Spirit Beast Island? Uncle Chengsu, this is the Yama Palace Shuro Lin Su who the palace master ordered to be killed. Xianxia Palace had issued a kill order against Lin Su and the bald man long ago. The palace master Su Kangxiang of Xianxia Palace specially reiterated it before everyone entered the god and demon secret realm. The monks of Xianxia Palace who entered the god and demon secret realm had a deep memory of Lin Su and the bald man. With just one glance, the 4 people in Sulai recognized Lin Su. It's really hard to find a place without any effort. There is no Jindan stage master of Yama Palace beside this kid. It's a good time to take action. Su Chensu's eyes flashed with a sharp light, and a strong murderous intent surged from him. People from Xianxia Palace, do you want to kill me? Lin Su is extremely sensitive to murderous intent, not to mention that Su Chensu and the other four did not hide this murderous intent at all. Boy, you killed our Yuanxu Pavilion's young master Su Wuming. The palace master has ordered that you must not be allowed to leave the god and demon secret realm alive. Today is the day you pay for your life. After I deal with you, I will kill that bald Tianyuan to avenge young master Wuming. The cultivators of Xianxia Palace shouted, but they were not in a hurry to take action immediately. In their opinion, Lin Su and Leng Lingyu were not in the early stage of Jindan, so they could not be the opponents of the four of them. They could do whatever they wanted. Su Wuming? Is that the guy who was raped by Brother Tian? It seems that Xianxia Palace has known about it for a long time, no wonder they issued a kill order against us. Lin Su nodded in understanding, and suddenly a wicked smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, but, do you really think you can beat us? Su Chensu looked at the weird smile on Lin Su's mouth, and suddenly a bad premonition suddenly rose in his heart. Before he could say anything, a scream suddenly sounded from the side, and he saw that Su Li's body suddenly broke apart, and a figure appeared behind him. The shiny bald head was particularly eye-catching. Who else could it be but the bald man Tianyuan? Rape is really a supreme enjoyment. A satisfied sigh came from the bald man's mouth, making Lin Su roll his eyes. This pervert who likes rape. It's you. So you've been here for a long time, hiding in the dark and waiting for an opportunity to strike. Su Chensu's face darkened instantly, and veins on his forehead bulged. As a Jindan stage master, he was actually approached by a late-stage foundation building cultivator and killed his companion. This was simply a great shame. Idiot. I'm a killer from the Yama Palace. Of course, the killer strikes in secret. Have you ever seen a killer rush up to fight hard at the beginning? The bald man sneered disdainfully, and his figure swayed and pounced on the remaining two foundation building cultivators. You're so bold, you're looking for death. Su Chensu was furious. It was fine if he attacked by surprise, but the bald man actually wanted to kill his people right under his nose. It was outrageous to ignore him like this. He swung the sword in his hand fiercely at the bald man, and a half-moon-shaped sword light rushed out of the sword and slashed towards the bald man, but the bald man ignored it and had no intention of dodging. Arrogant boy, die. Su Chensu was very confident in his attack. If the bald man didn't dodge, he would definitely be cut in half. He had a smug grin on his face, but a stream of light suddenly appeared behind the bald man and turned into a stone statue to block the sword light. The sword light that Su Chensu was proud of hit the stone statue, but it was like a stone sinking into the sea without even a bit of stone chips falling off. The stone statue puppet released by Lin Su naturally blocked Su Chensu's sword light. With the terrifying defense of the stone statue puppet, let alone the sword light, I am afraid that even Su Chensu's full-strength attack may not be able to break the defense. What is this? Su Chensu was horrified and quickly put up his true energy shield. He looked at the stone statue puppet warily, but heard Lin Su on the side give the stone statue puppet an order, attack with all your strength, kill him. The stone statue puppet, which had been standing still after blocking the sword light, suddenly had a red glow in its eyes. It rushed to Su Chensu like a mad dragon, raised the huge stone sword in its hand and chopped it down fiercely. Dang! A sound of metal clashing sounded, and Su Chensu was blasted back several steps. He only felt a soreness in his right hand. On the other hand, the stone statue puppet did not move at all and continued to rush up. He was horrified and quickly used his body skills to dodge. Help me look after her. It was unknown whether it was because of too much energy or because she was too tired after suddenly relaxing her mind, but after crying for a few times, Ye Ping'er actually fainted in Lin Su's arms. Lin Su could only bite the bullet and let Leng Lingyu help look after Ye Ping'er, while he himself rushed towards the two Xianxia Palace Foundation building cultivators who were fighting hard with the bald man. Chapter 1 is here. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 126. Brother Tian, fight quickly. Now that Xianxia is being dragged by the stone puppet, it is a good time to take action. If they can enter the first floor of the Demon God Tower, there is no guarantee that other monks will not be teleported over. If they are monks from Xianxia Temple, then it will be too bad. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. 1000 Fantasy Ultimate Kill. The bald man nodded, his figure suddenly became erratic, and suddenly several after-images burst out, rushing towards one of the Xianxia Temple monks. No. Xianxia Cauldron Talisman. The monk's face changed drastically. When he turned his palm, a talisman appeared. It was the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman that Su Wuming had used. If it was activated by it, it would be difficult for Tianyuan to break it in a short while. Lin Su's face darkened, and he was about to help when he saw the figures transformed by Tianyuan suddenly increase in speed and pass through the body of the Xianxia Temple monk before he could activate the talisman. The Xianxia Temple monk's expression suddenly solidified, and then his body shattered like wind and turned into ashes all over the sky. The Xianxia Cauldron Talisman that had not yet been activated in his hand also slowly fell down and was picked up by the bald man. He grabbed it in his hand and put it away happily. Uncle Xianxia, save me. Seeing that his companion's body was instantly gone, the remaining monk in the foundation building stage of Xianxia Temple was frightened. He turned his head and ran towards Su Xianxia, who was fighting with the stone puppet with no fighting spirit. Small 5 elements sword formation. The stone puppet can temporarily entangle the void life, but it is a puppet after all. If the monk rushes to the void life, it will not be easy to kill it. A cold murderous intention flashed in Lin Su's eyes, and a stream of light rushed out of his body, formed a small 5 elements sword formation, and instantly caught up with the fleeing Xianxia Temple monks, twisting them hard. Ah! A scream rang out, and the monk was chopped into pieces by the sword light, and then was struck by the 5 elements divine thunder contained in it, and even the blood mist was turned into nothingness. Brother Lin, I thought I was ruthless enough, but I didn't expect you to be more ruthless than me. There's no such scum left, tisk tisk. The bald man took a breath of cold air and kept smacking his lips. His 1000 Fantasy Ultimate Kill can separate the opponent's whole body into powder from the inside out. Lin Su directly strangles the person into nothingness. He doesn't know what it is. The sword array is so powerful. Stop talking so much, kill this guy now, otherwise it will be difficult for someone else to come and take action. With a thought in Lin Su's mind, the small 5 elements sword formation was already moving towards Su Xianxia's head. Are you going to kill someone by force? Hee, that's interesting. The bald man smiled mischievously and disappeared before he finished speaking. Lin Su quickly opened the destroying silver eyes and saw a faint shadow shooting towards Su Xianxia. In the blink of an eye, he had already arrived at the other side. Behind him, hiding in its shadow. The art of hiding shadows is really powerful. If he hadn't seen the bald man hiding in Su Xianxia's shadow, Lin Su might not have been able to detect the bald man's existence even if he turned on the destroying silver eyes. This guy's stealth assassination technique is indeed unique. The name of number 1 Shura is no fluke. You just want to kill me? You are simply overestimating your capabilities. Su Xianxia roared loudly, and suddenly struck the ground with his hands. An invisible energy wave exploded from the center of it. The bald man who was about to attack was thrown out of his shadow. The man couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of hot blood in mid-air. The stone puppet that had been attacking Su Xianxia was also pushed back several feet, and Lin Su's small 5 element sword array was also blown away. Damn, the monks in the pill-forming stage are really powerful, and now they've lost a lot of money. After the bald man landed, he couldn't help but spurt out another mouthful of blood. He quickly took out a few pills and drank them. After cursing fiercely, he disappeared again. Void Heaven Cauldron Talisman, rise. With one move, the attacker was forced back. A blush appeared on Xianxia's face, and his face turned a little paler. He did not continue to pursue, but instead waved his hand and offered a Xianxian Cauldron Talisman, which after activation turned into a Xianxian Cauldron Virtual Image Protector. Lived all over. It turns out that this guy is trying to buy time to activate the Void Heaven Cauldron Talisman. This is terrible. Originally thinking that Xianxia would take advantage of the situation to attack, Lin Su had already recalled the small 5 elements sword formation and prepared for defense. Who would have thought that this guy actually sacrificed the Xianxian Cauldron Talisman? With this layer of turtle shell protection, he thought it would be much more difficult to kill him. Lin Su secretly regretted that he should have continued the attack just now. The technique of indiscriminately repelling attacks would definitely consume a lot of his body. He was still too careful and missed the best opportunity. However, even so, Lin Su has no intention of letting Xianxia go. The two sides are already enemies, so he will never be soft. Brother Tian, go ahead and break his turtle shell. You must kill this guy. Lin Su shouted loudly, and the small 5 elements sword formation emitted a burst of bright light, and was twisted towards Xianxia again. The stone puppet also pounced on it again, and the huge stone sword in his hand was fiercely aimed at the Xianxian cauldron above Xianxia's head. The shadow smashed wildly. Rightward arrow. You are brave, Junior. Today I will let you see the gap between the monks in the pill-forming stage and the foundation building stage. Xianxia's Xianxian Cauldron Talisman is obviously much more advanced than Xianxian Ding's. The virtual image of Xianxian Cauldron that appears above his head is much more solid than the original Xianxian Cauldron. The stone puppet's stone sword slash going up only caused the light curtain hanging down by the virtual image of Xianxian Cauldron to shake a few times, posing no threat to Xianxia in the light screen at all. Xianxia also noticed that the stone puppet should be some kind of magic weapon of Lin Su. The clay figure also had a certain degree of anger. Being suppressed and beaten by a junior in the foundation building stage, Xianxia was naturally furious and kept urging the sword in his hand to be released. A series of magical sword lights slashed towards Lin Su. However, Lin Su had been on guard for a long time and hid behind the stone puppet. All the attacks directed at him were blocked by the stone puppet. With the stone puppet's terrifying defense, these attacks were just like scratching an itch. Not even the stone chips can be knocked off. Damn boy! Although the Xianxian Cauldron Talisman has amazing defensive power, it cannot last forever. It can last for a quarter of an hour at most, and it also consumes Xianxia's true energy mana. In the light curtain hanging down by the virtual image of Xianxian Cauldron, many of Xianxia's powerful spells cannot be used. All ordinary spells were completely blocked by the huge stone puppet in front of him, and even the corners of Lin Su's clothes could not be touched at all. If this continues, when the duration of the Xianxian Cauldron Talisman is up, Su Chengli will be able to. It's really dangerous. Damn it, this kid is only at the foundation establishment stage. How can he have such a powerful magic weapon? He is just like a master at the pill formation stage. He is still unbeatable. Also, activating this kind of magic weapon should be extremely consuming. Yuan K is right, how come this kid still has the energy to activate the sword array? There had never been a puppet in the Sea of Stars. Xianxia didn't know that the activities of the stone puppet only consumed energy. Lin Su's true energy was not even depleted at all, and he couldn't help but be puzzled. Brother Lin, this guy's turtle shell is too thick and it's really difficult to break open. Should we retreat first and come back after his turtle shell disappears? The bald man's voice rang in Lin Su's ears, and this guy actually hid in Lin Su's shadow again. Lin Su shook his head after thinking for a while, and replied via voice transmission, anyone who can cultivate to the stage of forming pills is not a fool. If we really leave, it will be even harder to kill him next time. Wait a moment, his Void Heaven Cauldron talisman cannot exist forever. When the effect of his talisman disappears, we will give him a decisive blow. Brother Lin, you fight first. I don't have a stone puppet to help me block the attack. I'm just going to rest first, he. Lin Su. The reason for the bald man's laziness was fair and square. Lin Su could only roll his eyes speechlessly. Don't look at Xianxia's attack hitting the stone puppet. That was because the stone puppet's defense was amazing. If it were replaced by Lin Su or the bald man, if it's a man, I'm afraid no one will be able to take it, and he will be seriously injured if he doesn't die. The attack power of the small 5 elements sword formation is indeed very powerful, it can be said to be the best at its level, but it is somewhat inadequate against monks in the Dan formation stage, especially those like Xianxia who use the Xiushan Cauldron talisman for defense. Seemingly powerless. It's not that Lin Su has never thought of using Xiantian finger to break the Xiantian Cauldron talisman, but using Xiantian finger once will consume half of the Dragon Yuan. If he cannot break the Xiantian Cauldron talisman, he will fall into a weak state. That would be very bad. Of course, Lin Su has another move, which is the stone puppet's petrification ray, but Lin Su doesn't know how powerful this move is. If it is used rashly and it is ineffective, it will only increase Xianxia's defense. The best thing is to let the stone puppet launch the petrified ray to kill him with one blow when the light shield of the Void Sky Cauldron talisman is broken or the duration expires. Before that, Lin Su was really unwilling to expose this trump card easily. It's a pity that the Staff of Prayer for Stars is still dormant, otherwise I would drive Suanation's finger into it and enlarge it 10 times. No matter how strong this old guy's turtle shell is, it will still be able to shatter. Lin Su smacked his lips with regret, and continued to hide behind the stone puppet and manipulate the small 5 elements sword formation to attack the virtual image of the Xiushan Cauldron and the light screen. From time to time, he would reveal his body and blast out a fused version of the 5 elements Divine Thunder. Lin Su was fighting calmly, but Xianxia couldn't afford to spend it. His true energy was being rapidly absorbed by the Xiushan Cauldron talisman with the constant bombardment of the stone puppets and the small 5 elements sword formation. The early monks have strong true energy, but the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the God and Demon Tower is mixed with the power of gods and demons. It is difficult to absorb and replenish the true energy. Moreover, the spiritual elixir he recovered has been basically exhausted before. If it continues to be consumed like this, sooner or later, he will run out of real energy and fall into Lin Su's hands. Damn it, is this kid a monster? I didn't see him swallowing the pill. Why does he still look so energetic? Unlike Xianxia, Lin Su is not afraid of the aura of gods and demons mixed in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. To him, it is no different from the desolate energy in the ancient wilderness of the world of immortality. Both can be passed through the green energy in the spirit field space. Lotus comes to absorb and filter. Seeing Xianxia's increasingly gloomy expression, Lin Su's lips curved into a smile. This old guy can't hold it any longer. Chapter 2 is here. There will be an exam tomorrow, so the update time may be delayed a bit, so please check back later. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 127. Stunning Talisman, Go. Xianxia, who was constantly attacking the stone puppet, suddenly stopped, took out a pale golden talisman, and hit the stone puppet on the head with a flick of his hand. The stone puppet's movements suddenly stopped, and his eyes flashed. The moving red light also stopped. What's going on? Lin Su was stunned. The stone puppet looked like it was immobilized. This was the first time Lin Su had seen such a strange attack. No. Disapparate. Searched can on Google. The stone puppet was immobilized by Su Qiansu's strange talisman and could not resist the attack for Lin Su. Looking at the incoming sword light, Lin Su only felt his scalp numb and used transformation without thinking. Shadow change, the residual image left in place was directly blasted into pieces by the sword light. Oops, Tianyuan. Lin Su, who appeared a few feet away, suddenly remembered that the bald man Tianyuan was still in his shadow. Did he bear the brunt of the bald man's attack soon after he avoided it? Brother Lin, I'm fine, the shadow hiding technique can move with the shadow. The bald man's voice sounded in the shadow behind him, and Lin Su breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Su Qiansu. You actually escaped. Seeing Lin Su dodge his fatal blow, Su Qiansu had a look of astonishment on his face. This stun talisman can forcibly stun the target for 2 breaths regardless of the target's cultivation level. It is extremely difficult to refine, and so is Su Qiansu. Lin Su was forced to use it reluctantly, and he originally thought that he would be able to kill Lin Su by being caught off guard. Who would have thought that he would be dodged by the opponent in a strange way? Despicable guy, you dare to attack the master, you will die. The time for 2 breaths was up, and the stunned stone puppet recovered. After letting out an angry roar, he swung the stone sword and slashed at Su Qiansu even more crazily. What exactly is this stone statue? Why does it seem to have intelligence? The attack of the stone puppet became even more violent due to its rage. Su Qiansu was horrified and hurriedly increased the input of true energy to the virtual image of the Xianxia cauldron, already thinking of retreating in his heart. He still has 1 stun talisman left, but he failed to kill Lin Su just now, so trying it again may have no effect. Since there is no chance to kill Lin Su, there is no point in using it anymore, and it may capsize in the gutter. Su Qiansu was a decisive person. He immediately turned around and ran away into the distance without any hesitation. Each floor of the Demon God Tower is a small world with an extremely wide scope. Su Qiansu is an early-stage monk in the formation of pills. Although because of Lin Su couldn't be defeated because of the stone puppet, but if he wanted to leave, Lin Su couldn't stop him. He could only watch it turn into a stream of light and escape. This old guy is such a coward, he actually ran away like that. The bald man emerged from Lin Su's shadow and muttered dissatisfiedly, "Brother, I haven't even had a chance to show off. This is not giving in, this is knowing how to advance and retreat. This guy is not simple. What is his name?" Lin Su didn't think there was anything wrong with Su Qiansu's behavior. If he continued to fight knowingly that there was no chance of winning, that was called a stubborn person and a fool. Su Qiansu's act of decisively escaping seemed to Lin Su to be a very wise act. If the monks in the Dan formation stage of Su Tian Temple were like him, their plan to strike first and defeat them one by one might not work. This is Su Qiansu from Huangsu Pavilion of Xianxia Palace. He is most famous for his stun talisman. As long as it is attached, it will completely stun him for 2 breaths regardless of his cultivation level. However, I heard that this talisman is very powerful. It's difficult to refine, even if Su Qiansu is an early-stage pill-forming master, he probably won't have more than 2 of them. Leng Lingyu's voice sounded from behind, and Lin Su turned around to look, only to see that she was holding Ye Ping'er's hand and walking towards her, and Ye Ping'er looked at him with a strange look, with shock and, there is shyness, and there seems to be an unexplainable meaning. Ignore the level of cultivation and be stunned for 2 breaths. Lin Su's brows furrowed tightly. 2 breaths sounded short, but for an expert it was enough to do a lot of things. At least for Lin Su, it was enough for him to kill his opponent dozens of times. Can only Su Qiansu know how to refine this dizzy talisman? That's right, this is his trick. I heard that Su Kangxian, the master of Xianxia Palace, once offered him a spiritual weapon in exchange for the refining method, but he rejected it. Leng Lingyu's words reassured Lin Su a lot. If the monks in Xianxia Temple could refine this dizzy talisman, it would be a real headache, but Su Qiansu was really bold. Even rejected the master of Xianxia Palace, Isn't he afraid of being made things difficult for him? Maybe he has something to rely on. But these are not things that Lin Su needs to worry about. He only knows that he must be particularly vigilant when he encounters Su Qiansu again. He must not seize the opportunity to put on the dizzy charm, otherwise he will be dizzy for 2 breaths, even if he is again a few more lives wouldn't be enough for him to kill. Miss Ye, this is the 2nd time I have saved you. Why, you don't even want to say a word of thanks. He glanced at Ye Ping-er, who was looking at him silently with a complicated expression, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. For some reason, Lin Su always felt an inexplicable kindness towards this girl who once wanted to take him as his spiritual pet. The feeling made him come to the rescue again and again. Are you Lin Su, the 5th Shura of Yama Palace? Ye Ping-er bit her lip and asked softly. That's right, I am Lin Su, Miss Ye. With the power of your spirit beast island, this shouldn't be your first time meeting me, right? Lin Su had a faint smile on his face, but Ye Ping-er's next words made him suddenly change his expression. Are you the spiritual-eyed snow python from Dongji City? As soon as Ye Ping-er finished speaking, Lin Su suddenly appeared in front of her, grabbed her arm, and growled in a low voice with a gloomy face, how do you know? Tell me. So far, only Song Yulong, Emperor Yama, the bald man and Leng Lingyu know Lin Su's true identity. Emperor Yama has the destroying silver eyes and his cultivation level far exceeds that of Lin Su, so he can tell that Ye Ping is do you also have breaking silver eyes. But that's not right. Even if Ye Ping also possesses silver eyes that shatter the illusion, her cultivation level is far inferior to hers, and it is logically impossible for her to see through her true form. Did Leng Lingyu tell her? Probably not, because Leng Lingyu was also looking at Ye Ping in surprise at the moment, and Leng Lingyu had no reason to tell Ye Ping her secret, so how did she know? Could it be that Song Yulong fell into her hands? It's really you. Ye Ping looked at Lin Su with a complicated expression. I have the eyes of the demon spirit and can see through the true form of all demonic beasts. I didn't expect that the person who saved me twice was actually you. Eye of the demon spirit. Before Lin Su could say anything, Leng Lingyu on the side shouted in surprise, are you the body of a demon spirit? Seeing Ye Ping nodding, Lin Su was even more surprised. What is the body of a demon spirit? The body of a demon spirit is a physique that monsters dream of. Monsters with this physique have no bottleneck in their cultivation, and they will naturally understand the laws of the Great Road after reaching the integration stage. But I didn't expect that this kind of physique would appear in human monks. On your body. When Leng Lingyu said this, she glanced at Lin Su strangely. Brother Su, this woman seems to have been specially prepared for you by God. Prepared specially for me? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Lin Su was confused. Brother Su, do you know that the chance of this demon spirit body appearing on a human monk is much smaller than that of a demonic beast? It can be said that it is 1 in a million. Leng Lingyu paused, a blush suddenly flashed on her face, and continued, furthermore, only women in the human race can have demon spirit bodies. If a demon beast has sex with them, the demon spirit bodies of human race women will being absorbed by the monster you have sex with. Brother Su, should I say that you are extremely lucky? This. Lin Su was stunned. He had no idea that Leng Lingyu meant this when she said preparing for him. As long as you have sex, you can get the body of the demon spirit. There is no bottleneck in your cultivation, and you can naturally understand the laws of the Great Road. I have to say that this is really a great temptation for Lin Su. Lin Su glanced at Ye Ping with some fiery eyes, but the other party trembled as if she was burned by his gaze. There was a trace of fear in her eyes, which suddenly filled Lin Su's heart like a basin of cold water. The thoughts were washed away completely. Forget it, I can't do this just to get the body of a demon spirit. Lin Su sighed and said, but Leng Lingyu and the others were quite surprised, especially Ye Ping, who who looked at Lin Su with a look full of confusion. After being silent for a long time, she couldn't help but ask softly. Why? Why? Lin Su murmured to himself and shook his head with a smile. Maybe it's because of the ridiculous persistence. I can do whatever it takes to improve my strength, but I can't have a relationship with a woman who doesn't like me for the sake of strength. But the body of a demon spirit is what demon beasts dream of. Ye Ping'er couldn't help but said something, but as soon as she said the words, she felt something was wrong. It seemed like she was begging the other party to take her, and her face turned red. Yes, this is what every monster dreams of, but I am not a monster. Lin Su laughed. Maybe I have the body of a monster due to the accidental seizure, but I am still a human being at heart, and I have my own bottom line. At this point, Lin Su glanced at Leng Lingyu. I already have 2 women in my heart. I can't force you to get the body of the demon spirit. This is blasphemy to you and even more to them. I can't do it. Ye Ping'er was stunned. She had been worried ever since she saw Lin Su's true identity, but she really didn't expect that Lin Su would actually say such a thing. For some reason, Ye Ping'er was greatly relieved. While taking a breath, there was a slight sense of loss in my heart. Different from Ye Ping'er's conflicted psychology, Leng Lingyu's eyes burst out with an unprecedented brilliance. Chapter 1. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 128. This is the man I like. This is the man worthy of your love. Leng Lingyu looked at Lin Su with bright eyes. The coldness in her eyes had completely disappeared, replaced by deep admiration and pride. Brother Lin, I really belong to you, I am completely convinced by you. The bald man slapped Lin Su on the shoulder and looked at Lin Su with admiration in his eyes. He knew very well that if he and Lin Su were in the same situation, it would be difficult for him to make the same choice as Lin Su. No, such a decision should never be made. For immortal cultivators, strong cultivation is the first priority. Everything else, whether it is love or anything else, must give way to cultivation, let alone care about the feelings of several women. The bald man did not agree with Lin Su's decision, but he sincerely admired Lin Su's decision because he knew very well how much courage and restraint it took. Immortal cultivators are also human beings, and the most difficult thing for people to defeat is your own greed. There's nothing to admire, I just want to have a clear conscience. Lin Su smiled bitterly and shook his head. He knew very well that his decision was a bit stupid in the eyes of most people, but so what? If he ignored the bottom line in his heart in pursuit of strength, how would he be any different from an animal? Lin Su looked at Ye Ping'er. Now he finally understood why he always had an inexplicable affection for Ye Ping'er. He was now in the body of a demon beast, and Ye Ping'er was in the body of a demon spirit. She had no feelings for him. Naturally, it has an inexplicable attraction. Okay, Miss Ye, you already know that I don't think anything wrong about you. You don't have to look at me like this anymore, right? It's true that I am a monster, but I don't eat people. I don't know if the word cannibal reminded Ye Ping'er of something else. Her face suddenly turned crimson, and she didn't dare to look at Lin Su anymore. Seeing Ye Ping'er like this, Lin Su also realized that his words seemed to be somewhat ambiguous, so he touched his nose with some embarrassment, looked away from Ye Ping'er, and looked at the surrounding environment. After leaving the Star God Clan Temple, Lin Su and the others were teleported here. As soon as they appeared, they met Su Cheng, and Su and the others were about to attack Ye Ping'er. What followed was a big battle. Only now did Lin Su think about it carefully. Take a look at your surroundings. This is an extremely broad space with endless mountains in the distance. The location where Lin Su and the others are located is a lush pasture, but large tracts of turf have been destroyed by the battle just now. Miss Ye, do you know where this place is? You can call me Ping'er. Well. Lin Su looked at Ye Ping'er, who was blushing with some surprise. He didn't understand this girl's attitude, but Ping-er was just Ping-er, and it was easier to call out, "Well, Ping-er, you know this is where? This is the first floor of the Demon God Tower." "Why, Brother Lin, didn't you look when you came in from the tower door?" Ye Ping-er seemed to have calmed down, and naturally called Lin Su Brother Lin. "First floor of Demon God Tower." Lin Su looked at Len Lingyu and the bald man in confusion, but saw that the two of them were also confused, and couldn't help but smiled helplessly. "We were teleported here directly, without passing through any tower gate. Ping-er, can you explain?" "Sure." Ye Ping-er nodded. "This Demon God Tower is a pagoda in the secret realm of gods and demons. It is said to be a demon artifact left behind by ancient gods and demons. It is divided into 9 floors. Each floor is a vast small world. Extremely wonderful. However, the monks who enter it can only enter the 3rd level at most, but not any higher. It is said that the entrance to the space above the 3rd level is in the fairy world, but it is just a legend and no one has verified it. Is every level a small world? Doesn't that mean that these demon god towers are 9 small worlds?" Lin Su and the other 3 looked at each other, and each saw a look of surprise in each other's eyes. This demon god tower has definitely surpassed the level of a spiritual weapon. Even the legendary fairy weapon may not be as good as it, right? "But I heard Ping-er continue, each floor of this demon god tower has a transmission channel to the outside world, but it will only appear when the 3 years expire. The entrance from the next level to the upper level is also it's uncertain. I heard that there are many treasures and opportunities on every floor here. Of course, there are also many hidden dangers, but I don't know what they are. Ping-er, how come you are so familiar with this demon god tower?" Not only Lin Su, but Len Lingyu and the bald man looked at Ye Ping-er in confusion. They had never heard of the demon god tower. How could Ye Ping-er know so much? It seemed like it was her first time to enter this place. In the secret realm of gods and demons, right? My dad told me. Ye Ping-er blinked. The 3 of them were speechless. Well, in the final analysis, we still have to fight for our father. Who gave Ye Ping-er a father who is the owner of the Spirit Beast Island? Naturally, the knowledge of the powerful monks in the late nascent soul stage is not comparable to that of Lin Su and the others. Ahem. Lin Su coughed twice and said, "Ping-er, you just said that you came in from outside the demon god tower. What about before that?" "Before? There was no before. After I entered the mysterious realm of gods and demons, I was teleported outside the demon god tower. Later, I met senior brother Yesong in this tower. However, senior brother Yesong was harmed by those bastards from Xianxia temple in order to protect me. Dead." Ye Ping-er looked at Yesong's body lying not far away, with a trace of sadness and resentment in her eyes. Ping-er, you should be more open-minded." Lin Su and the other 2 also looked at Yesong's body, and they couldn't help feeling a little melancholy in their hearts. This is the world of cultivators, where the weak are the prey of the strong. Who can guarantee that the next person lying on the ground will not be themselves? It can only be said that Yesong's fate with immortality is shallow. However, Lin Su didn't care too much about this. After all, Yesong had nothing to do with him. He didn't care whether the other party died or not. What he cared about was what Ye Ping-er said. As soon as he entered the secret realm of gods and demons, he was teleported to the outside of the demon god tower. Unlike the 3 of them, they narrowly escaped death several times and finally entered the demon god tower. This luck is much worse than Ye Ping-er's. Speaking of it, it was really his bad luck. Len Lingyu and the bald man were teleported to his side because of the amulet. Aren't they looking at him with resentful eyes? Lin Su laughed, and his figure flashed. He took off the storage ring on Yesong's body, and at the same time picked up the storage rings left by the 3 Xianxia Palace monks, including Su Li. The 3 Xianxia Palace monks had the same cultivation as Lin Su, but they didn't have any good things. Lin Su gave one storage ring to Leng Lingyu and the bald man. As for Ye Song's storage ring, Lin Su glanced at Ye Ping'er and laughed. Well, Ping'er, you see that your senior brother Ye Song is dead, and the things in this storage ring can't be used. Why don't we divide it equally among the four of us? The collection of a Jindan stage cultivator must be very important, and Lin Su was reluctant to return it to Ye Ping'er. Ye Ping'er looked at Lin Su, who looked like a scoundrel, speechlessly. It was really hard to connect him with the righteous look before. Leng Lingyu and the bald man also looked at Lin Su with a funny look, but they were also very interested in the collection of the Jindan stage cultivator, but just smiled and said nothing. If you want to divide it, then divide it. Brother Ye Song is dead anyway. When a person dies, it's like a lamp goes out. There's no point in having these material possessions. Just think of it as a way to repay Brother Lin for saving Ping'er's life. Ye Ping'er lowered her head and sighed, but a shrewd look flashed in her eyes. Hey! This little girl is really smart. Is this a way to repay the life-saving grace? Lin Su killed the cultivators of Xiangshan Palace and scared away Su Qiansu. This storage ring was originally a trophy. Lin Su said that just to give Ye Ping'er a way out. Who would have thought that this little girl would take advantage of the situation? It's a good plan. However, Lin Su didn't think of asking Ye Ping'er to repay anything. He nodded and probed his consciousness into the storage ring. Ye Song was already dead, and the remaining consciousness mark had no power to support it. However, it was broken by Lin Su in a few breaths. The collection of Jindan stage cultivators is indeed not comparable to that of foundation building cultivators. Not to mention those precious elixirs, spiritual herbs, and refining materials, there are tens of thousands of top-grade spiritual stones alone. They are really rich. After happily distributing these things, Lin Su gave up a large number of elixirs and only took some spiritual herbs and most of the spiritual stones. The rest, including several top-grade magic weapons, were distributed to Leng Lingyu and the other three. In the eyes of the three, Lin Su suffered a little loss. After all, spiritual stones are easy to obtain, but good elixirs and magic weapons are difficult to obtain. However, for Lin Su, he did not suffer any loss, because of the space of the spiritual field. As long as there are enough spiritual stones, it is enough for him to produce various rare spiritual herbs, plus he can refine elixirs by himself. As long as the elixir is not too outrageous or too precious, its value to him is not as good as the equivalent spiritual stones. As for magic weapons, Lin Su already has the 5 elements spirit sword. With enough spirit stones, he can cultivate the remaining 5 elements spirit bamboo. When the time comes, he can refine enough 49 5 elements spirit swords and combine them into the great evolution 5 elements sword formation, which is 10 or 100 times stronger than these top-grade magic weapons. After the spoils were distributed, Lin Su looked at Ye Ping'er and asked, Ping'er, what are your plans next? Do you want to go out on your own or join us? I'm not strong enough, so I'd better go with you guys, Brother Lin. Lin Su was not surprised by Ye Ping'er's choice. Ye Ping'er had seen their strength before. At this time, no one would choose to act alone. Where should we go next? Lin Su really had no confidence in his luck. Although they got a lot of good things after entering the God and Demon secret realm, they were all obtained after 9 deaths and 1 life. Unlike Ye Ping'er, this little girl, she got to the Demon God Tower without any effort. I've been busy reviewing for exams recently, so my upload time is not stable, but I'll definitely upload 2 chapters a day. Please subscribe and support me with monthly tickets. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 129. In view of Ye Ping'er's good luck, Leng Lingyu and the bald man had no objection to letting Ye Ping'er lead the way, and the four of them followed the path pointed by Ye Ping and walked towards the mountains in the distance. Sister Ping, are you sure we are going in the right direction? Why does it look more and more sinister? Along the way, the wind and waves were calm, and we did not encounter any danger, but we also did not find any opportunities or treasures. As Lin Su and the four walked out of the grassland and approached the mountains, the originally clear sky gradually dimmed, but this kind of the darkness does not appear to be the alternation between day and night. In fact, in this mysterious realm of gods and demons, Lin Su and the others have never encountered night, it has always been day. This dimness was like the light being absorbed inexplicably. There was no cloud in the sky, but it was just dim, and this dimness was intensifying as Lin Su and the others approached the mountains. I'm not sure. Didn't you ask me to find a random direction to lead the way? How do I know if I'm going in the right direction? Ye Ping pouted a little aggrievedly. Bald man. When Lin Su proposed to let Ye Ping lead the way, the bald man agreed with both hands, but now he could only roll his eyes speechlessly. This sentence is true at all. Lin Su and the others thought they were close to the mountain range, but it took them half a month to reach the mountain entrance. This small world is indeed quite broad. As soon as they entered the mountains, the whole world suddenly turned from day to night. It was not dim, but a real night. This was the first time for Lin Su and others to experience night in this mysterious realm of gods and demons. There are no stars in the sky. Of course, this is normal for a small world. There is almost darkness all around. But to Lin Su and others, this darkness is nothing. They can still see the surroundings clearly. Scenery. Huh? Do you smell anything? After walking through the mountain streams for a long time, Lin Su and the four of them stopped to rest temporarily by a mountain stream. Lin Su suddenly smelled a vague fragrance and couldn't help but ask aloud. Taste? No. Len Lingyu and the others looked confused. No, there is indeed a strange fragrance coming from that direction. Lin Su stood up and looked for the source of the scent. Len Lingyu and the others looked at each other and followed. The monster's sense of smell was much sharper than that of human monks. Maybe Lin Su had really discovered something. It's true, I smell it too. Me too. Following the stream and turning up a hill, Len Lingyu and the others also smelled the smell Lin Su mentioned, and they had found the source of the scent, which was in a cave as high as one person in front. It smells so strange, maybe it's some kind of treasure. Let's go in and have a look. This fragrance is extremely special. Once you take a whiff, you feel refreshed and your soul seems to have been cleansed. It is definitely not an ordinary thing. A hint of joy flashed in the eyes of Lin Su and the others, and they entered the cave carefully. Everyone, be careful. The terrain in this cave is narrow, and there might be some monsters. Be alert. As soon as he entered the cave, Lin Su suddenly felt a little frightened, as if something was peeping at them in the dark. He couldn't help but feel very alert. His spiritual sense has always been very accurate, especially the sense of danger. There may be some unknown crisis in this cave. Kaka. Suddenly, there was a slight noise under Ye Ping's feet. Lin Su's expression changed drastically, he pressed Ye Ping's shoulders and shouted, Ping-er, don't move. What's wrong? Ye Ping-er was startled, but she stopped and didn't take another step. Lin Su didn't say anything. He squatted down and looked at where Ye Ping-er was staying. His face gradually darkened. There is a trap in this cave. You stepped on it? Ah. What should we do? Ye Ping's pretty face suddenly turned pale. The mechanism in this secret realm of gods and demons could kill even a nascent soul monk. Ye Ping didn't expect that she would encounter it. Brother Tian, you guys retreat first. Len Lingyu and the bald man stepped back a few feet as instructed. Lin Su grabbed Ye Ping's slender waist and said in a deep voice, Ping-er, listen to my command. When I count to 3, you lift your legs, stand up. Although Yeping'er was a little shy when Lin Su held her waist, the matter was urgent and saving her life was the first priority. She didn't have time to think too much and nodded in accordance with the words. Ready, 1, 2, 3. As soon as Yeping'er raised her leg, Lin Su immediately activated transformation, and the two people's figures turned into an afterimage, showing their figures 3 feet in front. Almost at the same time, dense silver light shot out from the walls on both sides of the cave, tearing the afterimages of Lin Su and Yeping'er into pieces. The position where Yeping'er triggered the mechanism continued to be 2 feet in front and behind, within the attack range of Yinmang. This is the soul-killing needle. The bald man Tianyuan looked at the densely packed silver needles inserted on the ground, and his expression suddenly turned ugly. He had seen in ancient books that this was a one-time killing weapon called the soul-destroying needle. As the name suggests, the soul of the person hit by it will be annihilated. Even if it is a master in the nascent soul stage, he may not be able to escape death. Moreover, this soul-killing needle is designed to break the protective energy, and defense magic weapons that are not at the level of spiritual weapons will not be able to escape at all. Unstoppable. After hearing what the bald man said, Lin Su and the other two broke out in cold sweats. How could they possibly block a mechanism that could kill a Yuanying stage master? Fortunately, Lin Su reacted quickly and discovered it in time, otherwise the four of them would have been shot into hedgehogs and become victims of this soul-destroying needle. We just entered and encountered such a mechanism. This cave is too dangerous, Yeping'er suggested with some fear. Brother Lin, why don't we hurry out? Who knows what other dangers there are in it? With such a mechanism guarding it, it means that this cave is definitely not formed naturally. The treasure inside must be extraordinary. Lin Su shook his head and said, we have already entered. How can we go back empty-handed? Brother Lin is right. The more powerful the mechanism is, the more valuable the treasure is. We can't just give up like this. The bald man laughed and agreed, and Leng Lingyu also nodded in agreement. They entered this secret realm of gods and demons to find opportunities and treasures. Now that they know there are treasures in this cave, how can they just give up because of danger? Don't worry, Ping-er, as long as we are careful, nothing should happen. Besides, wealth and honor are sought in danger. If you want to get benefits, you naturally have to take a risk. Lin Su and the other two had the same attitude, and Yeping'er could only nod and say nothing more. In order to avoid triggering any traps, Lin Su and his four companions used the wind control technique and floated forward half a foot above the ground. After turning a few corners, the road suddenly became wider, and the stone walls on both sides of the passage were no longer messy, but smooth, obviously artificially cast. Wait a minute, something is wrong. Lin Su suddenly stopped before a downward stone staircase. Brother Lin, what did you find? Look at the ground in front of you, there seems to be some dried blood. Under the two stone steps in front is a narrow passage of about 20 feet, extending all the way to the stone steps on the opposite side, and on this passage, pieces of blood were scattered, most of which had dried and changed color, but a few places had not yet solidified. I'm afraid this passage is not that simple. Everyone was an elite among the foundation building cultivators. After Lin Su's reminder, they all realized that something was wrong. Yeping'er thought about it, took out a spirit beast bag, and released a spirit beast with wings on its ribs that looked like a tiger. This was a very common demon beast in the Chaos Star Sea, called the Flying Wing Tiger. Although it could only grow to the initial stage of foundation building at most, it was extremely fast and was the favorite mount for cultivators. Almost every cultivator on the Spirit Beast Island had one. Fly over. Yeping'er pointed to the opposite side, and the Flying Wing Tiger nodded, and flew into the air towards the opposite side. Just when it flew less than 10 feet above the passage, countless ferocious bone hands suddenly emerged from the ground of the passage, grabbed the Flying Wing Tiger and tore it apart. The Flying Wing Tiger opened its mouth and let out a painful roar, struggling violently, but it could not get rid of the bone hands at all. But in a moment, the flying winged tiger was torn into pieces by the bone hand, and the remaining limbs were pulled into the ground. The ground quickly recovered, leaving only a pile of scarlet blood, and it was completely restored to its original state. Hiss! Lin Su and the other four took a breath of cold air. The flying winged tiger in the early stage of foundation building was torn into pieces in a moment. If it were them, they would probably not have a better fate, right? What the hell is this thing? Why is it so scary? The bald man couldn't help but curse in a low voice. They saw clearly just now that the entire passage was 20 feet long with bone hands extending out, and the flying winged tiger flew over the passage and didn't touch the floor of the passage at all. This would trigger the attack of the bone hand. How could the four of them pass through? It seemed that no matter how hard they thought, they couldn't pass through. 20 feet is really too long. It would be better if it was 10 feet. Lin Su's current shapeshift can only flash 10 feet at most. Although it can be used continuously, there will be a short interval between each two uses. Judging from the speed at which these bone hands extend, he may be caught before he can use shapeshift for the second time. And the fate of being caught is not much better than that of the flying tiger just now. This is simply an unsolvable situation. Are we going to be blocked here? The bald man tried to chisel the wall of the passage with the spikes, but found that it was abnormally solid and could not even chisel out a trace. This method of digging another passage to bypass it is definitely not feasible. Should he give up and leave? Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 130. After looking at the passage and pondering for a while, Lin Su took out a magic weapon and threw it towards it. The bone hands did not appear. It seemed that these bone hands would only attack if they sensed living things. Ping-er, how many flying winged tigers do you have? Lin Su thought for a while and asked. There's only one left. One head is not enough. Every time Lin Su's transformation is activated, there is a moment's interval. During this period, he will inevitably be attacked by the bone hand. He intends to ride on the flying winged tiger and use the flying winged tiger to block the bone hand. A wave of attacks from his hand, buying himself time to release the second transformation. However, because he had to carry the flying winged tiger, Lin Su could only take one person there at a time. They had 3 people to take with them, and it was not enough. The attack of these bone hands is too high. Even if they fly through the air, they will trigger an attack. We are all made of flesh and blood, and we are not stones. How can we resist them? The bald man muttered depressedly, and Lin Su's eyes lit up when he heard it. Big rocks? Yes, why didn't he think of it? Aren't stone puppets just big rocks? The defensive capabilities of that big guy are terrifyingly strong. A high-grade pinnacle weapon won't even leave any trace when hit. Maybe it can stop the tearing of this bone hand. Turning his hand, the puppet bead appeared in Lin Su's hand. With a thought in Lin Su's mind, a stream of light rushed out from it and landed in the passage 10 feet away. It turned into a stone puppet more than 10 feet high. Its head was far away from the passage. The top is less than 3 feet. As soon as the stone puppet appeared, countless bone hands rushed out from the ground again, grabbed the stone puppet's body and tore it apart. Suddenly, there was a crunching sound, and the puppet beads in Lin Su's hands began to emit bursts of yellow light. Great, blocked. The stone puppet resisted the tearing of the bone hands, but it was obvious that it could not withstand it for long. Lin Su did not dare to neglect, and hugged the slender waists of Ye Ping'er and Len Lingyu, one on the left and the other on the right. Arriving on the shoulders of the stone puppet, and then dodging again, he stood firmly on the stairs on the opposite side of the passage. Putting the 2 women down, Lin Su flashed back with 2 more transformation, and brought the bald man over in the same way. At this time, the crunching sound made by the stone statue puppet became louder and louder, and the yellow light emitted by the puppet bead also turned into red light. Lin Su was so frightened that he quickly activated his magic skills to collect the stone statue puppet into the puppet bead. Middle. In such a short period of time, 50% of the energy value was consumed. After checking the energy value of the stone puppet displayed on the puppet bead, Lin Su took a breath of air. The 5-level energy value was 50,000 mid-grade spiritual stones and 500 high-grade spiritual stones. Although he had just received a huge sum of money, Lin Su still felt a pain in his body. Those spiritual stones were used to cultivate the 5 elements spiritual bamboo, and perhaps they were not enough. He was still a rich poor man. "Brother Lin, what's wrong with you? We passed safely, aren't you happy?" Ye Ping'er looked at Lin Su, who looked troubled, and asked softly, somewhat strangely. "I'm happy, how could I not be happy?" Lin Su took a deep breath and put on a smiling face. If Ye Ping'er and others knew that he was lamenting here for 50,000 medium-grade spiritual stones, they would definitely laugh to death and regard him as a miser. After all, he had just been allocated a large sum of spiritual stones, but who knows his own difficulties. "Come on, let's keep moving forward. The scent is getting stronger and stronger. I think we should not be far from the treasure." After spending so many spiritual stones, no matter how painful the pain was, Lin Su could only place his hope on the unknown treasure. After replenishing the energy of the stone puppet, the 4 of them continued to walk forward. Next, they encountered some traps, but they were not as difficult as the previous bone hand passage. Although it was a bit thrilling, Lin Su and the 4 of them passed through safely. Finally, the 4 of them came to a door. The door was ajar, and the strange fragrance emanated from the door. Ye Ping'er stepped forward and opened the door. "Wait." Lin Su quickly grabbed Ye Ping'er, while Len Lingyu and the bald man also shook their heads. Seeing Ye Ping'er's puzzled expression, Lin Su sighed. This eldest lady was usually very shrewd, but she acted so naive when it came to such risky things. It seemed that she was still usually attracted by her father Yewuji. Overprotective and under-exercised. Every treasure of heaven, material, and earth must be protected by a powerful being. This place is not naturally formed at first glance. Do you think it is possible that there is no guardian? Lin Su's words stunned Ye Ping'er. Yes, they encountered many dangers along the way here. It is impossible for them to be calm at the location of this treasure. There might be some powerful existence waiting for them inside this door. If she pushed the door open rashly and entered, wouldn't she be caught by the terrifying existence hiding inside? When she thought of this, Ye Ping'er's face instantly turned pale with fright, and her heart jumped loudly. "You guys wait here first, I'll go in and take a look." In terms of invisibility ability, Tianyuan, the bald man, was naturally the strongest among the 4, but his ability to save lives was ranked first among Lin Su. Lin Su proposed entering to inquire about the situation, and Len Lingyu and the others naturally had no reason to object. "Brother Lin, Brother Su, be careful." The 2 women spoke almost at the same time, then looked at each other, with a trace of blush on their faces. "Don't worry, he. Being cared for by 2 beautiful women is an extremely pleasant thing." Lin Su smiled complacently, cast a spell to hide his figure, gently squeezed the door open a crack, and slipped in silently. Inside the door is a space of 10 miles in radius. Except for the stone steps at the door, it is all filled with lake water. The spiritual energy is very abundant. In the middle of the lake, a fist-sized fruit shaped like a human is floating, constantly changing the light. Lin Su counted the light colors it emits and found that there are no less than dozens of colors. The tempting fragrance is emitted by this fruit. After entering the door, the fragrance becomes stronger. Just taking a breath, it seems that the power of the soul has improved. What kind of fruit is this, so magical? Just smelling the smell it emits can increase the power of the soul. If it can be taken, the benefits it will get will make people tremble with excitement. However, This spiritual fruit is not so easy to get. There are two powerful beings floating in the air next to the spiritual fruit. One of them is a human cultivator, whose cultivation is in the late stage of Jindan. Judging from his attire, he should be a member of Xianxia Palace. The one facing him is an 8th level demon beast in the late stage of Jindan. It looks like a giant turtle, but its tail is like a big knife. On the huge turtle back is a fiery red snake as thick as a bucket. This is the knife-tailed black turtle of the Black Turtle clan. The Black Turtle clan is said to have the blood of the immortal beast Xuanwu. Among the demon beasts in the Chaos Star Sea, it is also a top existence. The knife-tailed black turtle is the best among them. The tail shaped like a big knife is comparable to any magic weapon. Ordinary high-quality treasures can't withstand its chopping power. This man and this turtle seem to have experienced a great battle. There were many scars on the Tang snake on the back of the knife-tailed black turtle, and there were also many scratches on the huge turtle back. The late Jindan cultivator of the Xianxia Palace was not much better. There was a big hole in his precious clothes, and his body was covered with blood. It was unknown whether it was the blood of the knife-tailed black turtle or his own blood. He was alive with both. Perhaps they could not do anything to each other. At this moment, the two sides had stopped fighting. The two pairs of eyes were staring at the spiritual fruit on the lake, and their eyes were full of greed. From time to time, they would glance at each other and be wary of each other. Lin Su then noticed that there was a layer of almost transparent barrier around the spiritual fruit, which appeared and disappeared from time to time, but it seemed that the power of the barrier was being rapidly absorbed by the spiritual fruit. It seemed that this man and the turtle were accumulating strength, waiting for the barrier to disappear and the spiritual fruit to be officially mature before snatching it. If I want to snatch the spiritual fruit from these two bosses, the difficulty is not ordinary. And even if he succeeded in grabbing it, how to get out is still a problem. Lin Su doesn't think that with his current ability, he can compete with the existence of the late stage of Jindan. If he is really targeted, it may be difficult to escape. It should be some time before the spiritual fruit matures. Lin Su observed for a while, and then got out of the door through the crack. Brother Lin, what's the situation inside? Brother Lin, Brother Su, are you okay? As soon as he showed up, the three bald men couldn't wait to ask. Don't worry, I'm fine. But the situation inside is not good. Lin Su described the situation of the human-shaped spiritual fruit and the one man and the turtle, but Ye Ping'er suddenly became a little excited. Brother Lin, will the fruit you mentioned emit various colors of light, and there will be a barrier around it? Ping'er, how do you know? Have you heard of this kind of spiritual fruit? Oh my god! It's really a magical fruit. Brother Lin, you must find a way to grab it. This is a spiritual fruit that can reach the sky. Ye Ping'er screamed in a low voice. Supernatural fruit? Ping'er, you can get supernatural fruit after persuading it. Len Lingyu and the bald man also changed their expressions. It was obvious that they had also heard of this spiritual fruit. Only Lin Su was confused. Can anyone explain to me what this supernatural fruit is? What is supernatural power? The so-called supernatural power is the ultimate secret method that surpasses ordinary spells. The so-called wisdom in the gods, the wisdom in the wisdom, the unpredictable wisdom, the unobstructed access, is called supernatural power. This supernatural art is something that even the immortals in the immortal world envy. It is no exaggeration to say that a cultivator who has opened up supernatural power can easily defeat an opponent who is a whole realm higher than himself. This supernatural fruit is a kind of supernatural fruit that can obtain supernatural power. As long as you take it, you can randomly obtain a supernatural power. As for which supernatural power you get, it depends on your own chance. However, no matter which supernatural power it is, it has the power of gods and ghosts.